having discussed with many coaches nationally and with many players from the pro level to collegiate level to high school level, even down to the peanut level, and talking to the parents, we are going to host our own hitting clinic featuring the world's greatest hitting formula. It's often where I'll get an email message or a phone call and people will tell me, hey, I'm really intrigued by what you're saying about timing, but why is your system so much money? And I like to respond like this. I say, well, you know, if you have something that's valuable, if you have a gold nugget, is gold cheap? No, obviously not. And that's what this system is like. It's like a piece of gold. It will change your life. It will change your coaching career, your playing career, basically guaranteed. This is how I learned how to explain the concepts and the approach of the world's greatest hitting formula better. If you had to pick between having picture-perfect mechanics or being locked in at home plate, which would you want? Even though mechanics is important and everybody is striving to have picture-perfect mechanics, most of the best ball players out there would prefer to be locked in with the pitcher's delivery and locked in with the baseball. And it usually happens that after you're locked in, most often is the case, you have good form, you have good technique, you have a good movement pattern to the baseball. That is really, if I could pick the essence of what the world's greatest hitting formula is doing for our players and for our coaches, is that it's teaching them a formula, a menu to follow and to learn and to make adjustments by pitch, how to be locked in with the pitcher's delivery. You know, lately I've been blessed to be around a lot of pro guys, from the scouting directors to the cross-checkers to regional scouts and player development people. And, you know, I'll ask them these kind of questions and their take on their approach, how do you develop hitters? And ask them the same question. Would you prefer to teach all mechanics, or if you could, teach them how to be locked in? And usually always the case is they want to teach players how to be locked in. And then I'll say something like, well, how do you do it? The main ingredients, how to teach somebody to be locked in, revolves around the pitcher's common denominator. Not his release point, not when he's letting go of the ball. There's movement patterns of the pitcher that, you know, the best hitters in the game, they just get it. They just have a knack for figuring it out. But once we can explain to the batter and explain to the coaches how to interlock yourself with the pitcher's common denominator, not his release point, that's when the process of being locked in begins. What we want to teach hitters in the process of being locked in is, number one, how to get your vision timed to the pitcher's common denominator. Number two, how do we hit the adrenaline button at the right time based upon the pitcher's common denominator, and also about our own hitting model. The next thing we want to time to the pitcher's common denominator is how to get our body in position to smash the ball. And the last thing we want to get in sync with the pitcher's common denominator is, if they have any kind of foot movement in their stride, how to be in sync with the pitcher's common denominator. And the idea is of just getting the foot down. For me, I've seen it confuse more hitters than actually help hitters. The essence and the bottom line, what we as coaches want to bring to our hitters And what we want our hitters to have the capacity to do between pitch by pitch is to make adjustments. And we want the players to understand these gold nuggets of timing the vision, timing the adrenaline, timing our bodies in position, timing if we do take have foot movement, to get it all in sync with the pitcher's delivery and not just bump into by accident, oh, I got a good one. It's more than that. And if you want to be a great hitter and have the consistency, beyond the years where you reach your peak and now you're playing into your 30s and the game's getting faster than what your body is, when you understand these elements, these pure, deep-rooted elements of timing, your game keeps flourishing and you keep making those adjustments and you see the consistency stays there for you. I'm really excited about this clinic because what we're doing is allowing all the participants who have purchased the world's greatest hitting formula online system to come in and attend for free. If you want to bring your own players in or have your son or daughter to participate with the clinic, we're only charging just a minimal small fee to work with your player one-on-one directly with our group and demonstrate to you how we work directly with these golden nuggets of timing and instructing your player. And it's a win-win situation for all of us to see another hitting model that's displayed, that is demonstrated, and that is taught effectively from this world's greatest hitting formula. And having spent decades of studying this and researching it and exploring, I watch the trends, and right now we're in the trend and have been, and we're even escalating into the trend of measuring. TrackMan and StatCast, and the trend of the sports psychology has been booming and inundating us coaches with these features of the game, and they're spectacular, they're sparkling, and it really makes sense, and it sort of seems to jive right, to have our players, to watch themselves and, measure, bat speed and, spin rate and exit speed, all those things, and it's really cool to see the players, pump them up and coach them up. Hey, have confidence going to home plate. Wash away the bad thoughts, keep the good thoughts. Hey, I can get this guy. What to think at 2-0, what to think at 1-1. That's great stuff. Too many players are still failing in the game. There's too many talented players that are still failing. And why? We got players who are 20/20 vision. They're even better. They're 20/10 vision. And they're still not hitting with consistency. Sure, they'll have their pop, get a knock here, get a knock there. And too many good athletic players who are not reaching their max potential. Why not? Confidence. We all want our players to have more confidence. I always remember this interview, and I'm just going to paraphrase it. Casey McGee, Major League player with Brewers, Pirates, Yankees, and then he was sent off to Japan. Had a little skid in Major League Baseball, and he told the interviewers in the audience that when he got to Japan, he was tired of trying to reinvent his swing every day he went to the ballpark. And coaches giving him ideas, say, try this out or try that out. And basically every game was something new. When he got to Japan, he just stuck with one thing, and his confidence started to build and grow and grow and grow. And he had more success. Came back to the States and plays with Miami and does relatively good again. So what is that thing about the confidence, though? Why? Well, here it is in a nutshell. And I've learned this by studying hitters and looking at hitters when they're facing the pitcher. And not just studying hitters like we're a golf instructor and putting them in a box and measuring the angles of the arms and knees and toes. Hey, that has some value to it. But you want to look at what is the hitter doing against the pitcher. Okay? And then the deeper side of understanding what's really inside of confidence, you watch the hitter's face when he's batting in a live game. That's what I've learned. That was the key that the Lord has blessed me to study intrinsically and examine and explore. And that's where I saw the gold nuggets for the vision, for the adrenaline, being in position, after comparing it, to the pitcher and watching his face. Let me throw this really small gold nugget at you. Hitters who are struggling with confidence are waiting to make sure the ball is a good pitch to hit. And that sounds familiar, doesn't it? Hey, make sure you get a good pitch to hit. Well, guess what? Our players are literally waiting and doing what we say. Wait for a good pitch to hit. So they go at home plate, and they're standing there, they start to move a little bit, and they're waiting to see it, and there's the pitch. And guess what? It's too late. It's already moving. See, the ball is not going to stop for your sensories to pick up and try to, get a good movement on. The ball doesn't stop. It still moves. Okay? When you have confidence, you start moving ahead, and all your projections that you make are happening an instant before you see the ball. And that's all I'm going to really tell you right now, because I don't want to, get into a long explanation, but there's like deep-rooted understanding to those principles that I explained to you during this hitting clinic. If you really want to develop confidence in your hitters, you teach them these gold nuggets, how to be intertwined with the pitcher's common denominator, how to time their vision, and I've learned basically there's 4 patterns how a batter will look at the pitcher. And there's timing patterns of how to pull out to pick up the ball earlier in the flight path. If you want your batter to have more confidence, you'll teach them how to control their adrenaline. It's only taken me about 23 years to figure that out. And you could try to take your own time, but this clinic, I will explain to you in full detail what we need to do, how to teach a hitter to control his adrenaline, her adrenaline, according to their hitting models. This clinic will address the details for timing for both baseball and for softball. I really encourage you, if the game is really in your blood and hitting is part of your cloth, it's your threads, it's your fabric, you're going to love this. Honestly, I can guarantee you, you come out a new coach, a new player, it will change your life. It has for me, it has for multitude of other players who have just dove into the system. The system is not some kind of quirky system. It's what players are already doing, and we sort of help them organize their processes of their own athletic DNA and organize these gold nuggets for them. Lastly, the information for the clinic is below, and I just want to inspire all the coaches, all the parents, all the players that are out there that we get involved in the game because we want to inspire. We want to uplift our players, and we realize that the players, sometimes you only got one shot at this. You only have a certain clock, and as we get older, the clock gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it shrinks. So we want to get our players to be as good as they can be and as soon as they can get there, and then that gives them more longevity. So hope you can make it. I pray that you make it. I guarantee, like I said again, I guarantee it. You come out a better coach, a better player. Thank the Lord.